everybody. Pastor Randy here. Welcome to Making It Simple. Great to be with you on this beautiful Monday. We begin a brand new part of our 5 Things to Watch For teaching series. Today we're going to look at watching our work. Now we've been talking about our will, our ways, our words. Today we're going to look at watching our work. Pastor, what are you talking about? Are you talking about my job? I don't like my job. We're not talking about what you do to earn a paycheck. What are we, and I'm specifically talking to the believer today, what are we doing for the Lord? Why is that important? What does that matter? Because does it really have an impact? 100%. 100%. Let me take you to 1 Corinthians chapter 3. This will be our text that we're building this study out of. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 9. One verse, very, very clear here. It says, "For we are God's co-workers." We are God's co-workers. You are God's field, God's building. I want you to think about that for a minute. Think about what that said. We work with God. With God. We are God's co-workers. What does that mean? He wants others to be able to see Him. He wants others to be able to see what it really means to know Him. And He does that through you and me. Through every believer in this world. That increases the importance of multiple things in our life, if indeed we claim to be a believer. We live in a world of titles. We live in a world where everybody's got to have a label. Everybody's got to have some type of thing. But here's what I want to ask you as we start this. God wants us to be a place where others can come and find Him. Does that describe your life? That is not a statement of condemnation, guilt, anything. It's just a flat statement. I've been really disturbed lately by a lot of things that I'm witnessing within the church, within ministry, especially among pastors, among the direction that things are going. And I know that sounds critical, and maybe it even sounds arrogant or prideful, but I don't mean it that way at all, because I am far from perfect. But what I am more and more and more convicted of on a daily basis is God just wants us to be real. That's how we're able to minister to one another. When we feel each other's needs and each other's pains and each other's grievances and griefs and everything else, when it's real. See, we live in a world of phony, and everybody is so tired of that. You know, we see it in every realm and all the different things. Oh, good grief right now, especially with politics, is just awful. Because you know that it's not real. I mean, I just seen a video of one of the leading candidates for an office today, and this was their very words. You can trust me. You see the play on words there? This says one thing, this says something else. It's a mixed message. Our life, it says here, we are co-workers with God. That is not to say that I have any power to change your life. I don't have any power to save you. I don't have any power to determine your eternity. But I absolutely have the call and absolutely have the ability to show you the things of God. What responsibility does that place on my shoulders? Now, one may say, well, wait a minute, Pastor, that's your job. No, that's our job. Here it says, you We are co-workers with God. You are God's field. You are God's building. Does that specifically say pastors only? No. That's speaking of believers. This is talking about taking what God has done for us, saved your life for eternity, and allowing that to become who you are. That's what you market. We live in a world now that markets and sells everything, right? Every kind of gimmick and gadget that there is, right? But here we're seeing God is saying, no, you work with me. Let's do this together. Because if I've changed your life, why wouldn't you want someone else to know that? Don't add anything to it. Don't take anything away from it. See, that's one of the main problems that we have, especially right now in ministry, because we see it divided in, I don't even know how many ways. I really don't. I have lost count in how many ways. Because you got this one believes that, this one believes this, and you've got and every other kind of discombobulated mess that there is in between. What does that leave? Confusion. Because what it leaves, I just saw something, a young man that's completely and utterly in a bad place in his life. Another young person trying to witness to him. Not in a bash you over the head with a Bible type way, but hey man, how can I pray for you? This person's response was, well, I don't believe in that. I was hurt by the church and I heard this and I heard that and there's a bunch of hypocrites. Okay. That very well may be true. You may have heard something that wasn't true. Maybe you did see something that was hypocritical. But that is not what Jesus taught. Jesus said we are to love God and love one another. Jesus said we are to meet each other in those places. That's what he did, right? He met the woman at the well. He met the blind guy. He met all the different ones in their need. It was not for me to determine how you got there. That's not my story. It's your story. I'm offering the lifeline because we are co-workers with God, watching our work. Not just how we do it, but why we do it. It's not about accolades for me. You know, we see the big rescue efforts right now going on, and man, my prayers are with everybody that's been affected by this tragedy in North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, the Carolinas, everywhere. I mean, my daughter, I got a personal thing. My daughter's right in the middle of that. My grandchildren are right in the middle of that. But many are look at me, what I did. But it's not about you. It's about what we're doing for him. It's not about trying to get attention and accolades for ourselves. It's about showing people that there's something better. And the reason that I know that it's better is because it affected me. It changed my life. And so when it becomes real to you, then you're able to express it to someone else. We've been given the answer. And part of being a good teacher, you may not have that title. You know, you may not run a classroom. You may not speak from a lectern or a pulpit. But part of being a good teacher is showing others the answers that you've been given so that they too can have an improvement in their life, whatever manner that is, whether it's playing an instrument, playing a sport, or whether it's finding answers about eternity. It's not about developing a new method. It's not about developing a new theology, for goodness gracious sake. We see all these different things that are out there that are so unnecessary and have been added to the works of God, but God don't need anything added to it. He just needs us to do what he asks us to do. And so he says here, you are co-workers. You are God's field, God's building. He wants you to be a place where others can come find him. Again, does that describe your life? We're going to pick back up on this tomorrow as we dive in to watching our work. What are you doing? And why are you doing it? God bless you, friends. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow.